since she ran off with Jenny's man, telling if she had young ones, and whether she and Louis still lived together, or he had run off now with some new woman. The letter felt heavy as deed paper, and she picked it up in her brown fingers. Oh, this was too quality and genteel to come from Worth or Axa, or any person who would write their letter for them. "You can charge the postage to me," she said, then turned it over and saw that the blob of vermilion sealing wax had been broken. "It's my letter, Sayward," the trader told her, "but since you're the one it wants to know about, I'll charge you with the postage like you say. I didn't like to talk about you behind your back. I thought I'd read you the questions it asks. Then you could tell me what to say." Sayward's short gown flared a little in front, as it always did when she reared up so straight. "What kind of questions?" "Personal," George Roebuck said. "Have I got to answer?" "No, you don't have to." Sayward stood studying a little. "I don't even know who it's from." He took the letter from her fingers and spread it open on the counter. Then he pulled down his temple specs that made him look like a great gray-eyed frog ready to jump in the river. "He writes this letter from the Bay State. He says he's the lawyer for Porteous's mother." Sayward stood stock still. So it had come, she told herself. Porteous's folks were starting to pay interest in him and her at last. "What does he want?" George Roebuck's head was furry. His face had pits and hair holes. Yet you could tell he was somebody, and here in his own post, in his leather apron, he looked sovereign of all he laid eyes to. He gave her a sharp scrutiny around his spectacles. "Now you understand, Sayward, I can't help for what he says. It's a lawyer's right to ask unhandy questions." Sayward looked back at him without winking. No, he couldn't help for it, as he said. But he could shoo off some of these loafers sitting around to listen. Not that she would ask him. "You can go ahead and read it," she said. A look she well knew came into George Roebuck's face. She had given him leaf. Now she would have to take it as it came. "He wants to know," the trader put to her, "is it true that Porteous Wheeler is living out here with a Woods girl? That's his first question." Sayward felt a slow thump somewhere inside her, but outside she held cool and steady. "You can say it's true," she said clearly. "Is it true, he wants to know, that you can't read or write?" Sayward hung her head. "You know it's true," she said in a low voice. "Now he says, is it true," the trader went on, "that you and Porteous are living together? This is how he puts it, without benefit of laws or clergy." "That's not true." Sayward looked him in the eye. "You know your own self we're lawfully married." "I'm just saying what he says here," George Roebuck reminded her. "He says he heard men under the influence of whiskey forced Porteous to stand up with you, and he had no other way but marry you." Back of Sayward came the bang of a stool fallen over on the puncheons. "Who says I was under the influence of whiskey?" Jake Tench demanded. "I can drink a hogshead and never feel it." "Hush up, Jake," Sayward told him curtly. "You only make it worse." She had not turned around. Her eyes met George Roebuck's as hard as flint. "You can say it's true. He had no choice." "You gave him the choice afterward, Sayward," Jake Tench reminded her angrily. "I was and seed you. You opened the door and told him he could go or stay." "The letter don't ask about afterwards," Sayward said. "Why don't you tell him then how Porteous was afore you married him?" Jake shouted. "How much would they have thought of him then?" Sayward's face grew cruel. In her mind she could see Porteous as he was when first he came to the woods, a dandy then, and no mistake, with a whole cassin, they said, of shirts and fixins. Nobody knew why he came away back here all alone, but every 2 weeks he went to Roebuck's looking for a letter. She could see him afterwards, too, when all hope of